Okay, so do you reckon we can summarise that? What hegemonic structures are acting on them?
So for a repeat, I was saying that the gallery didn't play as much as a role as I thought it was going to, as this kind of their way to. But maybe this is just in our group, because that's immediately what Lydia and that lot were dealing with. So maybe it was a greater weight for them than it has been for us. But I've come in after my slightly faffing about with where to put a table, which is actually quite trivial, but had a good bit of meaning to it really. I was then happy with the space, and I didn't have this weight of the gallery on me that I thought I was going to. And then, so it's like people's expectations of outcome and of what this is. Outcome's a bit of a funny word, but especially in something that we didn't know what was going to, we were all happy that we didn't know what was going to happen, but everybody's I don't know what's going to happen is slightly different from each other.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's a different perception of time scale and what is needed to feel comfortable with where they're at, what the purpose is and how it's,
And also, how do you, without, this is why, this is, Kirsty got her grades today. It's a really abstract number, but it is recognition. I'm not saying that we should all be marked and things, and that's what should happen to this thing, but it's trying to find some level of recognition from each other, and probably the symposium might pick that out a little bit, but also part of this should be understood that this is not necessarily a beginning or an end, but an ongoing thing. And this isn't, we're not finishing here, this will be an ongoing reflection.
Yeah. So, did we agree that the hegemonic structure seems to be...
it's us rather than others,
yes.
Actually. Talking about what we're talking about today, it's we.
It's the weight of expectation that there should be some clearly definable, some clarity at this stage, when in actual fact we agree that obviously...
Yeah, I mean, I'm all up for things not being concise and well-defined, but expectation is something bizarre. Expectation is a bizarre thing, because you can't truly express what you want to happen, and so that and there wasn't much conversation about that possibly at the beginning of what everybody thought was going to happen. So actually, it's the defining hegemonic structure for me has been us, rather than some bizarre exterior force like the gallery or the audience or something like that. It's been me, actually, quite frankly. I've been my own hegemonic structure.
Yes.
Which, now I've said it, seems obvious, but actually, and it was always going to be that, but it takes...
Because we're doing something really new.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like jangling against everything that... At our assumptions.
Yeah.
Or what we're used to.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't defined anything there, but I think the one thing I can say is that the one defining hegemonic structure that has governed this more than anything else has been me, and my hegemonic structure, rather than any exterior force acting on this project.
Yeah, and we're learning that they're actually much more complex than we realise.
Yeah, definitely.
It's because if you're actually talking about personal life experience and subjectivity built up, which is informed by the cultural status quo, but the nuances between the expectations in the group are a result of our personal selves, not our social selves.
Yeah.
What hegemonic narratives are present? So, for example, we talked about the only one that I've noticed as super dominant is the external narrative of migrant crisis. It's
Right.
been in the news a lot, and it keeps getting referred to.
Okay.
What messages are people trying,
Yeah. I don't know, I think what's kind of like been something kind of coerced or been something reasonably. It's probably sadly going to be the same thing as the answer to before, that like this ongoing, we're coming to terms with how we're forming as a group, and it's something that is not defined. So
would you say that the status quo, so the narrative is the unfolding discussion, so it's unfolding, we're in the present moment of this narrative, which is all about the shit. It's like we don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
Is it okay that we don't know where we're going?
Yeah.
And actually that's what happens when you're working alone.
Yeah.
Is you're not really sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's even more disconcerting.
Yeah, when there's a group of you.
Yeah.
That's a good way to.
And when you're doing it publicly.
Yeah. Because I thought the public aspect of this was going to be a defining feature, but actually it hasn't been.
And we've adapted to that and made it even more. That's how
Like because I've been in here, I haven't been going out asking for it. But no, certainly this kind of like the status quo of how you think you're going to react with people and work as a group, and then actually comes down to it, and it's always been different, and it's been certainly not a struggle, but like an unfolding of getting to know.
It's been really easy for us. Like we've managed really well. Like you were saying earlier, with staying on the same page, even though you've been by yourself. Other people have they really needed to build up trust. And just kind of like, I think we established pretty early on that we were interested in the same things. So my other question, which kind of relates to the other question, was not even separate, is what is the prevailing hegemonic structure? Because I was thinking, well, maybe there's going to be multiple viewpoints, and one's going to sort of overcome the other at some point. One thing that I think, for me, I've really noticed is, I think your hegemonic structure has dominated in a good way, because I remember thinking, I'm really glad that I'm in a group with Isaac. Because my default is normally to get really quite caught up on details and planning and defining things and having outcomes. So that was kind of something that I accepted quite early on. I was like, actually, I'm going to this is the perfect opportunity to fully embrace the other stuff that I am really enjoying at the moment, which is improvising completely, not worrying about the outcomes so much, accepting that this is a very exploratory phase, and just like stuff that you said in your artist interview really stayed with me. I remember at the time I was like, wow, I don't think like that. So the prevailing. So I mean, look at us. We said we were going to have newspapers, and we didn't even have the newspapers that we collected on day 4. And it's okay.
For me, what was your phrase?
What is the prevailing? So what is the?
I know. So the prevailing structure is like this is going to sound like we're repeating it or whatever, but and this is going to come up in the symposium, is how much of this is like our relationship to cats and cats as a group. Because more so than the shop happened outside, is where this has roots from cats.
Yeah.
And people's relationship to cats and that's going to be quite hard to keep out of the symposium. Because it all, like, this almost always relates back to it in some way. And that is going to be a hard thing to keep out of that. But also this has been, for me, this has been the ongoing, prevailing, and I don't think it's a bad structure. I don't think, we're always defining that hegemonic structure is a bad thing. This is a perfectly good thing, just we do need to question it. I'm not saying it's bad, it just needs to be questioned. But for me, that's the ongoing narrative.
And what is it?
It is how do we personally define CAS? How do I relate?
So CAS is a hegemonic structure?
Yeah.
Which is?
It's what is my relation to it, what is my understanding of it, and what is our relationship to it, and where do I fit in this R?
Oh shit, I see.
Yeah, so for me that's it.
You're so right.
Yeah, so it's my relationship to it and my relationship to it with everybody else. So it's the we that because sometimes CAS feels like the other, sometimes it's we, and sometimes it's ours.
Yeah. And the reality is that it is
and it is everything.
But it does need to be defined clearly so that people aren't startled and they can easily, because that's the function almost of a hegemonic structure, is so that you can easily say, I'm part of the we, are we in or out?
Yeah, because the book that I'm reading, he talked about I think it was in Bosnia, but the political system has been radically changed, and in this changing system, people didn't know how to go, people's normal everyday life things, people didn't know what was the social norm anymore. Like, people didn't know, I used to be able to bribe that guy so I could get so I could get something, but can I go up to him and bribe him now? Is that social, can I do that now? Or have I got to do what the new hegemonic structure is? Because before, the hegemonic structure was that's okay to bribe him, and that's how we're doing it. So, but is it now okay to bribe you?
It changed so quickly that there was a...
and it changed quickly, and there's this phase in the middle where it takes a while for these new things to form, and getting 18 artists together in an unknown structured way is going to take, and you've never met up all together as a group, is going to take well longer than a year.
Yeah. Considering
we only meet each other once a month at most.
Nicely said.
Yeah.
I've got one question.
It's definitely before 5. Okay.
That was a really interesting answer, because the next question, which we probably don't need to answer now, is are we in or out? And we kind of covered that. The whole point of knowing understanding the existing structure is to be able to identify with it or against it.
Yeah.
Something that I would love if you would reflect upon, if you're interested, is what roles you've identified with so far over the course of the project.
Yeah.
And what your experience of that's been.
Okay. Yeah.
And what conflicts and tensions have you observed?
Trying to put down a tent, that was quite funny. I thought that was, I thought actually that was I thought that was a good kind of metaphor for the handover, really. the handovers have been like, they seem so crucial, and as yet it hasn't quite formulated in anything. But we assumed that they were crucial. We've like gone between phases of thinking that they're crucial and thinking that they're not. We can't quite decide whether we should bribe them or not, or whether people should be like strapped to the wall and that they should hand over. So yeah, and that's people's own reflections on the project and the significance of a handover. Because I know Group 1 handing over to Group 2. Group 2 weren't particularly happy with the handover of a bit of paper on the wall. So yeah. So I think that's why I would, and me handing over on Saturday is going to be like, I don't know, because I'm going to be helping them set up, so I don't know quite where. That's my only struggle that I've seen is, because for me they are important, because for me they define the otherness of this project.
I will prepare the printed documents, okay?
Yeah.
So you can play with them however you want, but I will use your template and prepare an official bump with as much or as little as we want.
Because I feel like in the symposium I might talk a little bit about, well, if I'm free, if I would be able to talk about the handover and like on a kind of upwards downwards journey that it's been, because they have seemed important and they haven't been important, and they haven't quite known themselves all the way through, which is like what we're doing as well.